Hi, everyone. It's a beautiful Saturday for this Memorial Day weekend. I've been thinking about some things, and specifically, I've been thinking about, loneliness. And I think that a lot of people suffer with that. I guess you could call it suffer with that. But I think God is saying to me, and I want to share it with you, that we can turn loneliness into living, right? Loneliness into living. And it's amazing how He will cause or allow you to go through certain things, or they could even be consequences of decisions that you made and things of that nature. But we know that all things work together, right? So I feel like this season of my life, what He's doing is I am feeling the emotions of loneliness, right? But because I'm in a different season, divorced, my kids have gone off to college. So technically, like I tell people, it's just me and my dogs, right? But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? And what I feel like the Lord is trying to tell me is live, 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 right? Do things you love. Okay, you don't know what you love? Take this time to find it out. I was watching something and I can't remember what it was. And the person said to schedule joy. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. But then I started thinking, well, what brings me joy? Because I don't even really know. And so I feel like this is a time, instead of me feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm all alone, a big holiday's coming. I remember I'm stuck in the past, remembering, having 20, 30 people at my house, cooking, having a good time. And now it's just me, right? And it's a good thing as far as the kids are concerned, because they're doing what they should be doing. They're living their life. They're in school. They're finding their friends. They're finding community. They're traveling. They're enjoying the activities at their school and going to church and serving and things of that nature. That's good. That means that I did my job, right? I did my job. Me and the Lord, right? We did our job, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So every time that I feel that sadness come, every time that I feel like, oh my gosh, I go back to the past and I remember, different activities and different family times of that, I say, but this is good. They are doing what they're supposed to. And now you need to find what brings you joy. You need to find new activities. You almost need to find a new identity, right? Because you are still a mother, but you're a mother of grown people. So I'm sharing this because I know that there are a lot of other ladies that may feel like this. And sometimes we don't want to say anything because we don't want to seem like, we have this sob story or whatever it is, worrying really about what other people are going to think. And, when, maybe like holidays come about or different types of activities, we don't really want to share that we are grieving, right? Because it's part of the grieving process and it comes in waves and you think everything's fine and then it's not. And you only know when it's not, if that makes sense. And only people who are going through that can truly understand, right? Because we can say, oh, I'll pray for you and all of that type of stuff. And that's wonderful, but it's different when a person actually really understands. So I guess I'm making this video for people who are in a different season of life, and some days it brings them sadness, even though they know that this is a good thing, if that makes sense. And then also, I'd love for you to just comment and just let me know if this resonates with you, if you'd like to see more about this. And you can also talk about like what brings you joy and how did you determine that? Because I think so many times we're wrapped up in being, mothers, wives, all the things that are roles. But then when that's over, in a sense, and you never stop being a mom if you're a mom, but I'm talking about the traditional activities, getting people ready for school, cooking, doing all of this kind of stuff. And it would seem like people, girl, if I would be doing this and I would be doing that. And I don't know if that's always correct. Well, maybe that's not saying correct, but I don't know if that's what would really happen when you're in that situation, right? Because that's why they call it like empty nesters syndrome and things of that nature, because it's really real. It's really real. You go from one thing to another. And so I think one of the things too that I didn't focus on, and that I probably can tell people that, you know, either I mentor or just people here who are watching this video, that is very important to have activities that you like, to have community, to have some time for self-care, self-reflection, to find things that bring you joy, to when you're a mother, right? When your kids are young, so that when they leave, you're not left with, I don't know what to do. I don't even know who I am, right? So practicing that. If I could go back and tell myself that's what I would do. Would create things for me and not feel guilty, that mom guilt, right? Because the process is going the way it should. You mother, and then they grow up, and then they leave, right? But you now you can't all of a sudden just try to find, it gets overwhelming. So if you can put it in increments or do it within your life, I think that when the season change, you have something to hold on to because you've been doing that. So if it's gardening, if it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's running marathons, if it's whatever it is, if it's hanging out, if it's starting a foodie club or a book club or whatever brings you joy, do it. Even when your kids are young. That's what I would go back and say. And so lastly, I think the video specifically just is about living. Live. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will be rejoice and be glad in it, right? He wants us to live. We don't wait to live. We live today. All right. Well, have a great day. Didn't expect this video to go that long, but anyway, take care. Bye-bye.